Okay. This is the microphone. Huh?
Yeah, that's good.
Yes, first of all, again, I like to say thank you to you both inviting me in your workshop.
You're more than welcome to.
We
It's
were waiting since several months for you
Yeah.
to come in Denmark.
and I wait sure for 5 or 6 years to meet you both. I have a lot of contact with Hanne in the last years on Instagram mostly.
It's always weird when you meet people that you've never seen before, but
Yeah.
because of Instagram and stories, you suddenly feel like
Yeah, you see,
you actually know them
social
already.
media
It is social
works.
sometimes.
Sometimes, to be honest, sometimes. Okay, what I want to do is show the people who are the persons behind the watches you build. In the end, we make pictures of your products, but I only want to show who are Christian LASS, who is Hannelore LASS. And so let me start with one question. Who have you been before watchmaking?
Before watchmaking?
Yeah.
That's a good question. If I, who have been, I always been like a very passionate person about like what my interest in, maybe like a little, not a little, very nerdy person to begin with.
Okay.
I always interested in mechanics and electronics and so on, until the extent that I became like, I didn't finish the study, but I was studying electronic engineering.
Oh.
So I did that for some years, because that was first of all, I come from, my father's engineer, and I come from the background, always grown up seeing this kind of stuff. We built this, we built that, and now it's a pharmaceutical factory, now it's this, like that. And then with engineering, well, then the electronic engineering is like the hardest kind of, that's like regarded as this. So of course, that was the thing I want to do. So then I started on that and was training to what's called build mobile phones. Yeah, Bluetooth was
Like this?
yeah. I was working. I was helper in a PhD project, like quote unquote coffee boy, printing papers and stuff like that. But I helped the ones with the PhD with that. And at that time we worked on a prototype that was the size of 2 refrigerators. This Bluetooth thing, and now you can barely see it. It's like it's so small.
Yeah, unbelievable.
But then I had this big unfortunate or big luck that there came this .com crash.
Yeah.
And the mobile phone business basically went out of business in Scandinavia.
Okay.
There was Ericsson bankrupted. They went to Sony, I think, something, get bought by them. And then Nokia, they moved the whole production. They fired all the hardware people.
Okay.
So I think it was something like 13,000 people in a year. Something. It was crazy. So, but basically the school told that don't like mobile phone, this line, maybe you don't want to study that. Maybe you want to find something else. And then I want to become a mechanical engineer instead.
Okay.
Because I thought everybody can use some mechanics. I can always build a machine, a bridge, or whatever. But it was not like kind of love at first sight, but it was kind of something that was a sure way. But then I came across a book by George Daniels, this watchmaking, and I read it,
like
and
always.
I read it, and it was like, wow, that is interesting. And I called the local, like our watchmaking school in Denmark, to hear if you could do something like that. They said, like, you can become watchmaker, but you're never going to do what is inside that book. You know, like, we cannot teach you that. You have to go to Switzerland or to England or whatever just to learn that. But you can start here and you can test it out. So I took the watchmaking education in Denmark, where I became apprentice to Søren Andersen, who is the royal watchmaker here in Denmark.
Oh, the one who
Jens Olsen.
cares for the Olsen clock?
Exactly.
Olsen clock?
Yeah, exactly.
Ah, okay.
So I used like four years in his workshop, also doing restoration on Jens Olsen clock, keeping it running.
Ooh.
So that was really. So I started with something really Yeah, and for the ones who don't know it,
start with a really easy
Yeah.
mechanical.
How many parts does it have?
It's I remember right something like 14,478 part or something. It's
great, yeah.
it's in Guinness World Record Book. It's the most complicated clock in the
Clock in
world.
the world.
Is that one, and it's in the Copenhagen City Hall, where it's just on public display, but you can see it. It's a fantastic clock.
Yeah, unbelievable.
You should still go see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you told me, but I still have the problem that I had a dog
You have a dog.
who is not allowed to go in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, this was your jump into...
That was into watchmaking. I started
Watchmaking.
there, and then one thing took the other. All of a sudden, I had the apprentice place, and I was there. It was a fantastic time doing museum restoration. His son is specialized as one of the, let's say, best in Europe for doing restoration in museum pieces. And we had like the royal family, have like a huge collection of watches and clocks, and that was that was the base. That was like doing restoration on especially like English pieces and German pieces and French pieces in particular, like these the things that you will find in castles and museums.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
This is the world what fascinates me most.
yeah, but it's
Yeah,
amazing.
this is
world. It's,
amazing.
and when you see, that's also today, you know, like to have this, that I have this experience where you see all the old stuff and what have been done before, you know, like it's just unbelievable.
Yeah,
It's
with no electricity, with no light. With
I'm always most surprised what people did without microscopes at the time.
Yeah.
And
Unbelievable.
Yeah. But it's also always, I always have people that says, oh, it's fantastic what you do today and what you can do and all this, and I'm always saying, yeah, but I'm standing on, you know, like 500 years of experience of other watchmakers who have passed away, for like they have laid the way for what we are doing today, and to have that experience, to first work on these really old clocks, very interested, sometimes very simple, very humble ones, sometimes super sophisticated. That's that was a really great experience.
And it's a really huge range of different types of clocks out of this century.
Yeah.
This is everyone is different to the next one.
Yeah, but also you work on like an English Tompion, Arnold, pieces like that, and then in the other end you work on Rifla or Jens Olsen's wall clock. Something is like it's totally apart. It's so this. So I always found like the watchmaking world, like even if it's restoration or building new, that it's such a vast area. You know, you never really finish. Like you always see something new. You always discover like a new area, and that is it's a fantastic craft.
Okay. And then you move to.
Yeah, then
Switzerland
I kind of get I built like a what's called Søren Andersen. He was part of their academy of the HCSI.
Ah, okay.
He was one who started it with Sven Andersen
With Sven
and
Andersen.
Calabrese. He was one of the first members. He built like astronomical clocks and giant planetariums you could have in the ceilings and so on. And when I was apprentice, he was one point you had to go to the General Assembly for the academy in Switzerland, and he knew I just told him from beginning, I have seen this book, this is what I want to do, and he was like, yeah, okay, cool, come down, I can teach you some, I cannot show you everything, but I know I have a lot of networks around, so maybe we can do some. So he invited me to Switzerland in 2004. And there was the General Assembly of the Academy. It was in St. Croix in VIANNEY Halter's place. And then I went there just to be his, you know, like, I don't know, just somebody who was with him, assistant or whatever. And but I knew we were gonna see all the other ones, you know, like Vianney, Defour, Gerber, everybody was there.
The crème de la crème.
So I I built like a watch out of a movement from an old lady's repeater pocket watch that have like a repeater and a chronograph, and then I built like a case around it, and it was like humongous, you know, like this kind of humongous watch, and it was just outrageous in any way, and it was really cool because it created a lot of attention. Everybody wanted to see this crazy watch, and most thought it was crazy. But VIANNEY, he was just like, wow, that's really cool. And when he was totally fascinated about it, and he just said, oh, when you're finished, then come. Then maybe you can come and work for us. And so that was really cool.
It had a kind of tiny bit of steampunk flair to it. So
he's for me, he's kind of the guerrilla of independent watchmaking.
Yeah.
I remember his first pieces. They look like Captain Nemo and 20,000 miles down under.
Exactly.
Really cool. And he's a really crazy guy, I think.
So he's a fantastic guy, and really have like a total weird view of, and also it's just totally in the future, in the past, everything mixed together. So that is no. But basically, I get offered a job there if I want to come work. After when I was finished, and I first finished like 2 years later, and then I tried to, as soon as I was finished, I get my diploma. I tried to call VIANNEY, and there was I couldn't get through, and I wrote him emails. There was nothing, no response. I wrote him letters, no response. And then in the end, I took my old beaten up car that I had as apprentice. I pulled out all the money I had in euros, and I divided it in 2 envelopes. And then I thought if I could drive on one envelope and reach Switzerland, I could also drive back again. Yeah. So I tried my luck of driving to Switzerland, driving up to VIANNEY's workshop and knock on his door and see if he was there. And so I came up there and I walked up to the door and I knocked on the door, and luckily he was there.
Okay.
Yeah. What was not so lucky was he had no idea where I was when I came.
Hey, I'm the guy who wrote you thousands of emails.
But as soon as I took out the watch and showed me, he was like, oh yeah, that's right, that one, please come in. And then afterwards I got a job. I mean, I got the permission kind of to be in the workshop, and then I worked with him for the next 3 years, building all kind of crazy things there. That was amazing time.
I can imagine. Only for seeing his products, it must be crazy.
And also this whole thing of in Denmark, I knew how to build big stuff, clocks and so on, but to build like tiny miniature parts was like a mystery to me. And when I arrived in Switzerland, I didn't really know what I should do in VIANNEY's place. I thought I should get some parts, put them together and test, like end shakes and see if it was running nice and so on. No, not at all. So I asked some of the other watchmakers that was there, where are all the parts? And they were just like, they were just laughing, said, they're all in the drawer over there, just pull it out. And I pulled out this drawer, and then there was like giant metal sheets and steel rods and so on. So you just have to make everything.
Make it.
Yeah, exactly. So it was really uphill in the beginning. It was really so
from scratch.
From scratch. But you learn a lot, and you do a lot of hours, and you do a lot of, and you, like when you have the passion for it, and it's not really a work. It's just like it's just like.
Yeah, and I think that if you're surrounded by people who all have the same passion,
of course, it's like a synergy.
Get infected
everything.
by this,
Exactly.
It was a really good atmosphere. Everybody was so much into this, and basically spent the whole day there, not just the 8 hours. And we went often for lunch together, and it was definitely a good time.
That was a great time.
Because you said it, Hanne. This was the point where you both
we met each other in VIANNEY's place. Exactly.
You still worked there?
I was there since 2004, and you came in 2006, I think.
2006,
And I kind of ended up in Switzerland because of the Antiqua, you could say.
Really?
I don't know where I should start. No, first I started with watchmaking at SINN
in Frankfurt.
In Germany for 3 years. originally I wanted to be goldsmith, but everybody told me forget about that. You're not gonna earn anything if you don't inherit a shop or anything.
Try it with watchmaking. That's much better.
Yeah, much better. Yeah, exactly.
I was told there was a lot more demand for that, and I just thought, okay, it's also small scale. It's got to do with metalwork, and maybe. And then I just got this guided tour at in the workshop of SINN, and the one who was afterwards my master for the apprenticeship. He opened this drawer where there was like these small boxes with all the small watch parts, and I was like, that's what I have to do.
Okay. Yeah.
So I started there, and I thought, okay, I could always add goldsmithing afterwards if I want to. But then over time, I found out that engraving fits better together with watchmaking.
Yeah.
And I almost studied engraving also at SINN Specialum because I had an engraver who was doing skeletonized pocket watches, but sadly he passed away just before I could start. So I went to the school in Hanne instead, which is a full-time school, and I had a really fantastic teacher there also who gave me a very varied kind of education, touching a little bit of everything. And while I was there, when I was in the apprenticeship at SINN, we made several class travels, and one of them to Switzerland. And we also visited VIANNEY's workshop there. Basically, I had seen him at Baselworld, and I thought, okay, we're going to travel there. Maybe I can put all my courage together and ask, could we visit your workshop? And he said, yes, of course. And when I was in the workshop, I just, if I could work here, that would be the dream. And and then
work as an engraver or as a watchmaker?
At that time, I thought as a watchmaker, but I still wanted to study engraving, so I asked first for what's called a stage, an internship. So I spent a holiday in his workshop, and it was so great that I asked, can I come again in the next holiday? So I was several times there in a holiday, and then I asked when I'm finished with the engraving study, can I come to your place? And I was lucky, he said yes. So then I moved to Switzerland, and I thought originally, okay, I go there for a year or two, learn some French and learn some watchmaking, and in the end I spent 14 years. And I didn't meet, as always, I didn't meet a Swiss guy, I ended up meeting a Danish guy.
Sometimes it goes like this.
And that's...
Yeah, fantastic.
And then after a while in Switzerland, we realized maybe somewhere else might be a better place.
So is Christian the one who got homesick or what?
Yeah, also kind of. I don't know if you get homesick. It's not like homesick. It was just we came to. At least I did, like I've been climbing like a gigantic mountain of watchmaking, ending up as the
for sure.
chief of restoration in PATEK Museum, in the PATEK Philiippe Museum, and in the end, when after nine years, it was kind of, I thought like time to do something else, also to kind of, and also I had always this. I started because I want to build like a watch, I like watches. So it was kind of a little bit like a detour to do the restoration thing. So it was kind of always pulling in me to do this, like building watches, and but there was a lot in Switzerland. It's just the cost of living and the cost of all this was just so high. So we could see we had like a lot better situation here in Denmark, because it's a lot like. Of course, the groceries and stuff cost the same, but like rent, the health system, and all this, the cost of daily living is a lot lower. And
it sounds always like you get a great salary, but if you
compared to what
exactly,
not really that much.
No, because we were. What we have almost our cost of living there was around 8,000 Swiss francs per month, something like that.
I always say, a simple example for childcare, 2 children, 4 days a week. For both of them, we spent more than 2,500 euros per month.
And here we spend it's 200 euro or something like that.
No, 700, but still, not barely half.
But it was just like place where it could start, and it was
and to buy buildings also.
Yeah.
If we needed something with a workshop where there's a little space.
Yeah.
That's almost impossible.
Yeah. And also just personal, like
and as an independent, you both don't need this complete environment that you have in Switzerland.
No, not
you
really.
have
I mean,
contacts.
yeah,
special persons that you sometimes need. But
of course, we have like a huge network of people we know that can help us and so on. But in the end of the day, as independent, we want to build a watch where it was us who built it. It was not like that they didn't want to buy a movement over here and a dial there and a case over there and put it together and call it our own. The idea was to build a product that was us and make something interesting out of that.
And on top of it all, we also thought, okay, having small children, it's not so bad to be somewhere close to family.
Of course, and
grandparents. And it was either here or Frankfurt, and Frankfurt is just as expensive as Geneva, so it wasn't really an option.
So,
But it turned out also to be like a huge advantage, because when we were in Switzerland, I was actually starting up. I was like part-time in PATEK the last two years, and Hanne also made a watch, like the guerilla-watch watch. But there was so many in Switzerland.
It was I made the master course while I was in Switzerland, kind of remote at the school in Germany to have basically I made the master course to have a kind of the piece in the end, because otherwise it's really hard to take the time for something like that.
Yeah, right.
And,
But in Switzerland there's so many watchmakers, so you kind of drown a little bit. Here we are more or less
the only ones.
The only ones, no, but it's like we're just standing out like completely in the media. So it's a lot it's a lot easier to get through to press and stuff like that. So
I can imagine that. Yeah. So you start the rebirth of Danish watchmaking.
Yeah, exactly.
To be honest, I only knew Schulz Jürgensen as a Danish watchmaker.
Yeah. We have, and he's not even. Yeah, we have like the Jürgensen family. There was first Jürgen Jürgensen that was here in Denmark, and then his very famous son Urban Jürgensen. Yeah, and then he's also his Urban Jürgensen's son is Schulz Jürgensen in Switzerland.
You're right.
And he was one of the founding ones of Le Locle, this whole watchmaking industry.
Okay.
And he's basically more Swiss than Danish. He grew up in Switzerland and lived there. And he's also buried there. You have this tower in Le Locle, where you have this tower in the forest, where his heart is put in the wall. That's really crazy.
Why? He's the hero of Le Locle.
Yeah, exactly.
I never heard of this.
Yeah, it's in when you drive. There's one end of the Locle. You drive through a little hole in the cliff, and then there's a city, a little village on the backside, where there was the nice area. All the workers was in the Locle, and the big villas was on the other side in the sunshine in Le Prenet, and there's the tower just there standing in the forest. It's like a little tower with him.
Next time I go there, I have
the
to look at it.
Tower. So that was
fancy. So moving here was kind of, you brought all these machines with you, or you bought them time by time, or?
A lot of the small machines I've collected in Switzerland.
In Switzerland.
And then when we started producing watches, first I sold like one or two, and it was kind of manageable to do that. And then after we came in Hodingi, we sold like over 20 of the 50 pieces there was in a weekend, and we had to say stop because we have no idea how to produce all these watches, and then we had to scale up and get like other machineries and so on, so we could make it. And therefore we have, but I think like 2/3 of the machines we had, but the big machines you'll see around, those ones we acquired later.
Okay, and I know it's not the best question, but can you imagine how much money you put in over the years in all those machines that allows you to build nowadays your watch from scratch?
At least,
what do you think?
for me and all the small machines and stuff. Yeah, but it just goes so quick. You have no idea. You know.
Yeah,
Like
because I know this from my workshop how much money is in there.
Like,
This is
I mean,
crazy.
this is like a tweezer to most people. To us, it's like also a tweezer, but for us it just costs €100 and up. For tweezer, and there's just ones, and I have like tons and tons of stuff.
I know that.
So it goes up. I think like just for beginning, for building watch is like €100,000 at least. For that I spent over the years in tools.
I mean, I must say we were quite lucky. You know, you were really good at finding things. Also,
Yeah.
some flea markets or
I have a lot where
pages
it's
like Ricardo or
restoring
eBay.
them also. Yeah.
At the time where it was still like okay price. You know, today things
You
have
can't
become a lot
buy
more
this
expensive.
today.
Yeah.
So,
I also visit a lot of. I have a lot of friends and visit a lot of workshops. I always had some cash in my pocket when I visit. So there's always something somewhere. It's like, oh, do you want to get rid of this? Oh, okay, cool. I take. And then it's so that is important. And also because when we was in Switzerland, it's kind of center of watchmaking, so it's not so rare there. You know, like there's a lot of tools there. You know, like if everybody, the joke is there that every man over 50 have a sharpening lathe in the garage, you know, like, so there's just tons of material everywhere. That's
it's much harder to find something watchmaking related on a Danish flea market.
Yeah, forget about it. That's
Not for years. Yeah. If we come to your watch, before we take some pictures of that, I always ask myself, 30 CP. What is it standing for? 30 CP? What?
Yeah, it was like 30 is for the size of the movement.
Okay.
So it's 30 CP, and then we had like what's it called, the calibre de précision, like a precision caliber. That was
and
it.
I always ask myself, okay, C stands for Christian. And P, was there another person or
Yeah,
what is that?
but it could also, there's some rumors about it could also stand for Christian and Peter. Is the first customer I had that we built it together with.
Oh no! How nice! And maybe you were 30 years old when you started. You know what?
No, but it started. I basically we had it on the folder where we have all our files in. You know, I had a lot of projects where I constructed things.
Yeah.
And then the one that came to 30CP just called 30CP on the folder. So I had to find a name for it, and I tried all kind of things. You know, like you come with all these kind of want to do like the full simplicity, or some kind of brand thing. But in the end, it sounds ridiculous. To find some simplicity was already taken. There's fantastic name, and then it should be something else. And it's like it's a simple watch. Okay, it's taken, and okay, 30CP, perfect. And it's
that's cool.
Yeah. And then there's
But nobody knows the meaning of this CP, huh? Does anybody? I think nobody knows what it means.
No, only very few selected people.
But we know it.
How many people will be on YouTube then? It's
No,
So
it just became that.
looking back to all these years, these bygone years, would you do it again?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah, fantastic. I think like it's
Hanne, you?
Yes, I think I would. I would. Yeah, no, I must admit I'm a little more, what do you call it, nostalgic person. So Denmark is a fantastic place and Switzerland is a fantastic place. But to have changed the whole life and the country twice today, I don't know. I feel at home in 3 places, and wherever I am, I miss the other 2 places.
Okay.
But still, no. I would do it again.
I think
in
it's
Germany, it's the options that I would have. I might have gone to Dresden instead, for example, instead of going to Switzerland.
Okay.
But at that time, I also really loved French as a language, so I'm happy
wonderful.
I went to Switzerland. And
but also today, like to have, we basically have the world as our working place. That is really cool.
Yeah.
You know, we have.
It's so much easier today. You don't have to travel from one fair to the next to just present yourself.
Yeah, but also we are going visiting clients, suppliers, whatever around the world. It's really fantastic.
So this is to nearly every person I ask this question, everybody says, yes, I will do it again for sure.
Yeah.
And this is...
It's not like, I think, you know, like a lot of things, you know, like it looks very fancy on Instagram and stuff like this. It's not like an easy life, but it's very interesting and very rewarding life. I think that's the
I think so.
And I don't know how do you say selbstbestimmt in
English? Do you create your own world?
You decide everything yourself. So that's, but as Christian found a good sentence once, like 70% of having fun is actually not that fun.
Yeah. Okay. That's really good.
So sometimes when it's a hard day, you're just like, okay, I'm just in the 70%. It's gonna be fun soon.
Yeah, but that's how watchmaking was still.
I think it's whatever it applies to everything. It's the same when you're driving around. You have some days you come here or wherever. It's super fun. You also sit on the highway in a tower or in whatever, and it's not super fun. It's raining or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's always, you just have to remember in life that it's not. You have to have periods where it's not so fun to recognize when it's really.
And it's really beautiful.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nice ending, I would say.
Perfect.
And now you want to show me a little bit of your workshop.
Yeah,
please.
absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we're in the workshop. Here we have some of the machines that we are using for producing the parts. You'll have like a lathe. We have machines over here for making all the pinions. These are machines that can polish all the small parts that we get from the automatic lathes we have. Then we have over here, we have some of the machines that we're using for decorating the pieces. This is the one we use for decorating the winding wheels.
Ah, yeah, okay. Nailing.
Exactly. And this is just like an ordinary small watchmaking lathe. And then we have here, this is our Dixie wheel cutting machine. Yeah. Today we have like a diamond in it because we used to make the crowns.
Okay.
So we cut these polished grooves on the crown like that. We have this is for polishing
teeth.
Yeah, the teeth, exactly. So we just put the engine here over there. Then we have our Geneva striving machine, and we have all the Hauser, like high precision machines for making holes and etc. for that.
Ah, there's a lapping machine.
That's a lapping machine. That's originally for cases.
Yeah.
We use it very sophisticated for sharpening our screwdrivers. And then we have this machine is the one that makes the spotting or pelage on that. We have this is thread cutting. So it can it's one with a reversing spindle. So it drives down one way and then up the other way.
Goes back.
And here we have our machine for making the polished grooves, for example, on the winding wheels.
Yeah.
We have like, so that this is a machine you can see. Then it's the wheel is sitting here. Then we have this little disc that polishes the groove.
The groove.
Exactly. And then we have another lapping machine for polishing screw heads and all these parts. So this is going around here, and then this arm is going back and forward, and then it's polishing on the paper.
So these are the bigger machines, huh?
Yeah, these are the bigger machines. This is the room where we make the cases. So these are case making lasers, where we have all the different tools here. You see, we put the case on here, and then we can tighten this here. That is put the case around here. And then afterwards I have all the different cutters where I can make the different cutting like that. And that is how we're doing it.
And this is from...
This is 40, yeah, I think like 30s, 40s I heard from the one I bought it from, but if it's true or not, I don't know.
Yeah, but it looks like, huh?
Yeah. It was originally made for a belt in the ceiling.
Yeah,
and then later came like an engine on it.
Okay.
So.
Cool.
And over here we have the machine that makes the curvature on the case. So you can see it is the same curvature I have here. that makes like the two sides.
Yeah.
And then we have these holders here. So we have the cutter here, and then a feeler up here. And then the distance from here to here, this is like 5 times. So this times 5. And that means that when we put it on here, then it reduces this size like 5 times.
5 times.
So it gets 5 times smaller down here. This machine here, it comes from PATEK PHILIPPE, so that was used for the PATEK cases before.
It's always nice to have worked at there.
Yeah, it's nice. And it's also nice sometimes when it doesn't really work for you, you can kind of not blame the machine for being bad. That is.
Okay.
And then we have this is Posalux faceting machine. It can make like the polished indexes that you see on watches. That are
I never saw that.
So it's driving around here.
Yeah.
And then you have a microscope. Then you put like a small disc with all the small indexes, and then you cut these 45-degree angles on it. So it's just like jack, and then you look through the microscope up here to align it. There's like a crosshair inside.
Okay.
And then the cutter is made so you can look through the cutter. There's a hole in the middle, so while it's running, you can see what you're cutting. That is really cool.
Cool. Yeah, that's sounds really cool.
So these are the machines that are used for making the indexes.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting what kind of machines are existing for some tiny small parts on the dial.
This
where you're working.
Yes.
Doing dials and...
Yeah, that is where I make the dial engraving, the beveling, the casework. There's so many parts that need some sort of finishing.
Okay.
It's I haven't counted them yet, but so here, for example, I'm working on the beveling of the barrel bridge. It is making these, especially these inner corners here, take a long time. The polishing, and then in the end, I put on the steel bridge, the balance bridge, which also needs a lot of beveling.
And also,
for example, a dial part which is engraved, then I have to put in the black paint and also do the beveling outside. And then the dial consists of 4 parts: the hour dial, the second dial, the center, and the name plate.
Yeah, okay.
And,
so this beveling is nothing what you normally learn at SINN in Frankfurt or in a watchmaking school. So this is what you learned at VIANNEY.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And then the cases, for example, they're made so the horns are soldered into the middle part of the case, and I work a little bit on all these inner corners to take off the excess solder first, and then to pre-polish, so it's a little bit easier to polish afterwards without everything is becoming rounded. That's just then there's a buckle to make. The buckle is casted, and the casting surface is always quite rough, so it needs a lot of grinding and shaping and polishing.